Welcome back to US Mint X Coins, the place where every day pocket change turns into collector discoveries and hidden history becomes real value stories. And today we are talking about a coin that many Americans have seen but very few actually understand the real collector story behind it, because the 1986 Soviet Union 20 Kopek coin is not just a foreign coin from a vanished country. It is a surviving piece of one of the most powerful empires that ever existed on Earth. And what makes this coin surprising is that some versions today quietly sell inside collector markets while millions of people still ignore them inside old world coin jars, estate boxes, and inherited collections across the United States. This small silver-colored coin was minted during the final decade of the Soviet Union, at a time when global politics were shifting rapidly, and when collectors today look back at the late 1980s, they recognize that coins from this exact period represent the closing chapter of an entire political superpower, and that alone makes the 1986 20 Kopek coin historically important, even before we talk about its collector value. Now, what makes this coin especially interesting for American collectors is the fact that Soviet coins were never widely circulated inside the United States the way European coins were, which means most examples entered America through military travel, Cold War exchanges, immigration, estate inheritances, or collector trading networks. And because of this unusual entry history, many examples discovered today inside American homes were stored for decades without anyone checking their condition, rarity, or collector significance. The obverse side of the 1986 Soviet 20 Kopek coin shows one of the most recognizable state symbols ever placed on circulating currency: the Soviet hammer and sickle emblem surrounded by wheat branches, tied with ribbons representing unity across the republics of the Soviet Union. And beneath the emblem you can see the globe symbol representing global communist ideology. And when collectors examine this design today, they are not just seeing decoration, they are seeing a political message captured permanently in metal during one of the most important ideological conflicts of the 20th century. On the reverse side of the coin you will see the large denomination number 20, along with the word Kopek written in Cyrillic letters and the year 1986 clearly displayed. And while this reverse appears simple at first glance, experienced collectors immediately begin checking details like strike sharpness, edge condition, lettering clarity, and surface preservation, because these features determine whether a coin stays common or becomes collectible. Now here is where the story becomes more surprising, because although millions of these coins were originally produced, not all 1986 20 Kopek coins are equal inside the collector market, and certain preserved examples, especially those that survived without circulation, will now attract attention from world coin specialists inside the United States. Collectors today, especially those expanding beyond American coins into Cold War-era history coins, are actively searching for late Soviet circulation issues, because they represent the final years before the collapse of the Soviet Union, which officially ended in 1991, and coins from the final decade before that collapse often gain additional historical interest as time passes. One important factor that surprises many viewers is condition, because a circulated example of the 1986 20 Kopek coin may sell only as part of a world coin bundle, but an uncirculated example with original mint shine, strong lettering, and no surface scratches can attract collector offers that are several times higher than expected, especially when presented inside labeled protective holders. Another factor collectors check immediately is mint quality, because Soviet coin production facilities sometimes produced subtle variations in strike pressure and metal finish, and while these differences may look small to casual observers, experienced collectors understand that even minor variation types can increase demand. especially when they appear less frequently in preserved condition examples. Something else that increases curiosity around this coin is the metal composition, because unlike many modern plated coins, the 1986 20 Kopek coin was produced using a copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability and a distinctive appearance that survives decades of storage, which is exactly why collectors still find examples today with surprisingly strong visual presence even after many years. Now here is something most people inside America never realize, because during the Cold War, Soviet coins were rarely collected widely by American hobbyists, which means millions of examples entered storage without proper grading protection. And today, when collectors rediscover them, they sometimes find higher quality examples than expected, simply because nobody examined them earlier. Estate sale discoveries have become one of the most common sources where American collectors find Soviet circulation coins, including the 1986 20 Kopek coin. And what makes estate discoveries exciting is that they often include coins preserved together in original travel envelopes, collector albums, or inherited boxes, where they remained untouched for decades. Another interesting reason this coin attracts attention today is historical timing, because 1980-1 was the same decade when major reforms inside the Soviet Union began, changing the direction of the country, and coins from this period represent the final years before the transformation that reshaped global politics and collectors' value. Coins that represent turning points in history. Many American collectors who specialize in world history coins now actively search for Cold War-era circulation coins, because they represent a connection between currency and global political change, and the 1986 20 Kopek coin stands exactly at that historical intersection, making it attractive not only as currency but also as a conversation piece. Something else that surprises new collectors is that grading services sometimes evaluate Soviet circulation coins when they appear in strong condition, and once a coin receives professional grading certification, its collector appeal inside the United States market can increase significantly, especially when the surface quality remains original and uncleaned. Cleaning is actually one of the biggest mistakes people make when they discover old foreign coins, because removing natural surface tone can reduce collector interest dramatically, and experienced collectors always recommend leaving discovered coins exactly as they were found until properly evaluated. Another surprising fact is that Soviet emblem coins like the 1986 20 Kopek coin represent a design style that disappeared completely after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, which means no modern country produces coins with that same emblem today, and collectors often value designs that cannot be recreated again in future currency systems. Some collectors inside America even build complete Cold War timeline coin collections, beginning with early Soviet issues and ending with the final circulation coins before 1991, and the 1986 20 Kopek coin fits directly inside that final chapter, making it a necessary piece for timeline collectors. Collectors also pay attention to edge condition, because reeded edges that remain sharp indicate limited circulation. Use in coins with preserved edge detail usually attract stronger interest compared to heavily worn examples that lost their original edge structure. Another reason this coin continues attracting attention is accessibility, because unlike extremely rare coins that almost never appear, this coin still surfaces occasionally inside mixed world coin lots, meaning collectors still have a realistic chance to discover one inside inherited collections or trading boxes without needing expensive auction purchases. And here is something especially exciting for viewers across the United States right now, because Cold War history collecting has grown steadily in popularity over the past decade, and coins connected to that era continue gaining recognition as educational historical artifacts as well as collectible objects. Some collectors even frame Soviet circulation coins alongside historical timelines, maps and documents, creating display pieces that connect currency with world events. And the 1986-20 Kopek coin often appears inside those educational displays, representing the late Soviet period. Another collector's secret involves original shine, because coins that still show natural mint luster under light usually receive stronger collector attention compared to dull circulation examples, and checking this feature carefully can sometimes make a major difference when identifying collectible quality pieces. Interestingly, some inherited coin jars across America still contain Soviet circulation coins mixed together with European travel coins, because travelers returning from overseas trips during the 1970s, 1980s, and early 1990s often stored foreign change without sorting it, and those forgotten coins sometimes become rediscovered decades later. Collectors also recommend storing discovered coins inside protective holders immediately after identification, because preventing scratches, moisture exposure, and cleaning damage helps preserve future collector interest and potential grading opportunities. Another reason collectors continue watching coins like the 1986-20 Kopek coin closely is that historical distance increases curiosity, and as more years pass since the end of the Soviet Union, collectors continue re-examining circulation coins from its final decade with renewed interest. And here is the most important discovery lesson for viewers today, because many valuable collector coins were once considered ordinary circulation pieces before collectors recognized their historical timing, preservation, rarity, or variation features. And that is exactly why experienced collectors never ignore foreign coins discovered inside inherited boxes or estate collections. So if you ever find a 1986 Soviet Union 20 Kopek coin inside your collection, your travel souvenirs, your family coin jar, or your inherited coin envelope, do not ignore it, because even though millions were minted, preserved examples with strong detail, original surfaces, and minimal wear continue attracting attention inside the American world coin collecting community. And before you leave, make sure you subscribe to US Mint X Coins, because the next historical coin discovery story we share here might already be waiting inside your home, your drawer, your pocket change jar, or your family collection, just waiting to be recognized by someone who understands what to look for.